So I think we're going to get started. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Orion's first edition of the Young Innovator Series. My name is Anna Volkov. I'm a Marketing and Communications Associate at Orion Innovation, and I will be monitoring today's webinar. So the Young Innovator Series is ultimately a way for Orion employees and their families to hear about emerging technology trends from a teenager's perspective, find out how to get involved in their local communities, and learn something new. So we have a lot of great content to cover in just 20 minutes, so we're going to move swiftly, but we'll take live questions with a Q&A session at the end. I'm going to share the presentation deck. We'll keep running for the majority of the webinar. And for the ideal viewing experience, drag video icons to the right so that you can see both the speaker and the deck. So with that, let me introduce today's Young Innovator, Gyan Ghoda.
Hello, everybody. My name is Gyan Ghoda. I'm in 10th grade, and I go to the Academy for Information Technology at Union County Vocational Technical Schools in New Jersey. I'm one of the founding members of Team Arrow, which stands for AI Robotics, and the founder of SCORE, which stands for Shared Community Globally Promoting Education.
Awesome. Thanks, Gyan. So we're really looking forward to learning more about both Team Arrow and SCORE during today's webinar. And I'd love to hear how you got involved with these initiatives at such a young age. So today we're going to break up the content into 4 sections. Number 1, Team Arrow, kids teaching kids STEM. Part 2 will be SCORE, which is shared community globally promoting education. Part 3 will be about kids learning STEM during COVID-19. And then we'll finish with a live Q&A session and how to get involved. So let's get started. Part 1, kids teaching kids STEM, Team Arrow. So Gyan, why don't you introduce us to Team Arrow and tell us what it stands for?
Sure. So the AI stands for Artificial Intelligence, and the RO stands for Robotics. I actually founded it in 2016 with 2 of my friends, Om Desai and Siddhant Desai. We were in 6th grade at the time. Together, we have been teaching and mentoring children in STEM-related areas for over 4 years now. One of the great things about Team Arrow is that we encourage young boys and girls from elementary and middle school to engage in STEM-related areas from an early age to develop an interest. We've also grown a lot since our start, teaching a total of over 300 students over the course of 4 years. We've taught Scratch programming, robotics, Python, mobile app development, and the Rubik's Cube all in total. We've also mentored multiple teams in various competitions, such as the first LEGO League Robotics competition and Tech Olympiad.
So how does it work, and why did you guys decide to create Team Arrow in the first place?
Let me start by answering your second question first. Schools simply do not expose children to STEM-related areas early enough. Due to this, children tend to be behind or have no interest in STEM-related areas when they're exposed to them at a later age. However, our parents engaged us in many STEM-related areas starting from an early age, and as a result, we became interested and proficient in a variety of STEM activities. We wanted to reinvigorate children's interests in these areas so that they can pursue and enjoy STEM-related fields in the future. We felt that the best way to engage kids in STEM areas at an early age is to teach them using their own kids' language. Hence, we came up with the concept of Team Arrow, a community service where we motivate kids with our unique model of young students teach younger kids to enjoy learning STEM concepts.
So what is one of Team Arrow's main goals?
Well, one of our main goals is to promote STEM among both boys and girls. Not everyone is encouraged to pursue STEM-related areas, and therefore, some don't express as much interest early on. In Team Arrow, we make an effort to include both boys and girls in all our classes.
Cool. That's awesome, Gyan. So it sounds like a really comfortable and welcoming environment for everyone then.
Correct. Now let me explain how Team Arrow actually works. First, we prepare courses and curriculum in the areas of programming, such as Scratch and Python, in robotics, such as LEGO 83 and Arduino, and the Rubik's Cube. We teach these courses by conducting classes and workshops, which can either be online or on-site. In our classes, we use our unique workshop-based teaching model to provide hands-on exercises and projects, which allow kids to gain practical and problem-solving skills. In addition to teaching classes in our own basement, we have expanded to collaborating with girl education-focused nonprofit organizations, such as the Jersey STEM in Chatham, New Jersey, and other organizations like public libraries and the Boy Scouts of America.
That's super cool. There were some clubs like that in Bethesda, which is where I'm from, and through my high school. But it sounds like Team Arrow is, operates on a super high level. So tell us more about what kinds of activities and competitions Team Arrow has participated in thus far.
While we started our journey in 2016 with teaching Scratch programming, since then we have expanded our curriculum in different programming areas such as Python, mobile and web application development, and JavaScript. We've also mentored and prepared promising boys and girls as extended Team Arrow members to accelerate our very own teaching activities.
Cool. So what was one of your favorite activities or, an interesting story that you'd like to share today?
Well, while we were focused on teaching programming, one of our extended Team Arrow members, Samarth Desai, who is the younger brother of co-founder Siddhant Desai, came up with a simplified algorithm that could be used to teach young kids how to solve the Rubik's Cube step by step. Usually, the courses that we teach are multiple weeks long, whereas the Rubik's Cube class would only be 3 hours and only one class. And you know what? So far, every kid has finished solving the Rubik's Cube during that 3-hour class.
Wow. So who else participates, in these classes and competitions? And is it easy to meet other kids?
One of the things we also do is that whatever competitions we participate in, we encourage and mentor other teams in those same competitions. For example, we have been mentoring multiple teams for the first LEGO League Robotics Tournament, the Johns Hopkins University Robotics Competition, and the Tech Olympiad Nationwide Competition. Recently, we've also started hosting our very own events as well. For instance, we hosted a Team Arrow STEM booth at the annual Boy Scouts Jamboree in October of 2019. In this event, about 5,000 plus Boy Scouts and troop leaders visited our booth to learn robotics, engineering, and the Rubik's Cube. In the given COVID-19 situation, we've also organized an online Scratch programming competition.
Wow. Okay. So, well, we know Team Arrow isn't the only group that you've created for kids looking to get involved in these kinds of opportunities. So let's take the conversation a bit to SCORE. And will you tell us what SCORE stands for?
That's correct. Today, I'm pleased to announce the launch of SCORE. SCORE will be an autonomous platform promoting education to all age children through a shared community globally. SCORE stands for Shared Community Globally Promoting Education.
Very cool. So why did you decide to create SCORE in the first place?
Let me answer your question with some statistics. It's a fact that kids aren't always provided with the opportunity to learn, especially in some developing countries. Globally, 250 million children between the ages of 5 and 15 aren't able to read or write, and a lot of those kids don't receive primary school educations. We are hoping that the SCORE platform will reach to these young kids by creating a shared global community. We can leverage materials created by Team Arrow, and we'll also create additional materials to support this cause.
So how is SCORE different than Team Arrow?
Well, while Team Arrow is mainly focused on younger kids, the goal of SCORE is to bring awareness and provide vital foundational knowledge on emerging technologies in a simplified language to high school and college level students and adults. With the advancements in technology, especially in the COVID-19 situation, the need for digital transformation is accelerating rapidly. It's important that high school and college level students have a proper level of knowledge on how emerging technologies are making an impact on how we lead and operate today. The SCORE platform will provide autonomy to users who want to learn in the areas of science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, or STEAM.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine what that's like. And, it's truly inspiring to hear that you're looking to create a better education experience for underprivileged kids who might not have as many opportunities in comparison to their peers like us.
Exactly. In some of those underdeveloped countries with insufficient education systems, some students don't even have a place to learn due to lack of resources, teachers, and money.
So how exactly does SCORE address this issue? It seems like quite a large one to tackle. How does it work?
Well, SCORE tackles this issue by providing children without materials and access to teachers these valuable resources that they need to succeed. We provide teachers and materials for many subjects in a variety of areas, from advanced maths and calculus to arts and sculpting. SCORE then manages the youth and teachers by dividing them up into SCORE chapters and sending whatever material or new teachers they may need through our website. In addition to that, we are trying to build an autonomous AI-driven platform that would collect different types of content and courses available on the internet. In addition to the content available on the SCORE platform, classify them and make them available to users based on their needs in the areas of STEAM. So as an example, if a high school student would like to understand the basics of, let's say, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, robotics, or Internet of Things, the AI-driven SCORE platform will help to identify the right level of content and provide access to the available content.
That's great, especially during these challenging times, even some of my college courses relied heavily on using online curriculums and testing tools. So, that's definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. So we just touched on the challenges that people are currently facing due to the global pandemic that has turned our world upside down. So let's move on to part 3, which is learning STEM during COVID-19. So what kinds of things has Team Arrow and SCORE been doing to encourage kids to continue learning despite the unfortunate circumstances?
Well, there are a few things that we have been doing to continue teaching and learning during this epidemic. Let me start off with Team Arrow. We've been hosting online classes and competitions that teach and compete in the same material as before. In terms of online classes, we've hosted an online Scratch programming class through Zoom and are planning future classes like Python to keep kids busy and engaged when they're stuck at home all day in the summer. We've also mentored 30 plus students to participate in the Tech Olympiad national level competition and proctored tests over Zoom as well, so that these children could still finish out the competition even though they're not physically present to actually appear in the test. We also organized an online Scratch competition for all ages of kids to practice and compete with their programming skills.
So then what about for SCORE?
Well, in terms of SCORE, my father and I actually recently participated in a COVID-19 hackathon by providing conceptual solutions in the areas of contactless payment processing, crisis management, and supply chain management. We're also in the process of setting up a virtual marketplace to sell paintings by my little brother, Gyan Ghoda. From the sale, 25% of the collection will be donated to the heroes who are helping day and night to fight in the COVID-19 situation.
And have you been doing anything individually to stay busy during this new normal?
Well, I have been doing a couple of things to keep myself busy as well. I've been participating in many competitions throughout my school to keep myself busy. We actually just won 3rd place at the state level in the FBLA Mobile App Development Challenge, which is where my team and I created a mobile app based off given guidelines and presented it to judges virtually via Zoom. Now we're actually preparing to appear in the national finals. We were also semifinalists and came in the top 25 in the Euro Challenge, which is a competition where we take a country, in our case Greece, in the Euro area facing some challenges and come up with economic and political solutions for that country. That was also a Zoom-based virtual live presentation. I'm also taking 2 online specialization courses on Coursera. The first specialization course is on discrete mathematics for computer science, which would help me to improve my skills towards data science. And the second specialization course is on entrepreneurship, which will help me understand how startups and making my own business will work.
That's really great, Gyan. So how has it been for you in making these sessions and events virtual? And what do you think the pros and cons are for a lot of the kids who are involved?
Well, most of the pros and cons have pretty much been the same that you probably experience in your own learning environment or working environment in school. Hosting classes online has not been ideal, as it's hard to do hands-on learning and teaching with the barrier of a video call. However, it has been easier to get more people attending classes from anywhere in the world and learning, as more children end up showing up to these lessons and events as they do not have to travel anywhere to attend a class, but instead just have to join a Zoom call from the comforts of their own home.
Got it. Okay, well, thanks, Gyan. So now we're going to move into part 4, which is our live Q&A session. So we've had several questions come in from the audience. So we're going to start with this one, which is, The work that you're doing for kids looking to get involved in STEM is truly inspiring given how young you are. Um, what inspired you to launch these initiatives and create these groups?
First of all, thank you. The main reason that we started these initiatives and Team Arrow was that we want to give back to the community. Team Arrow helps the community in a place that the education system is lacking. With our hands-on approach and our focus in STEM-related areas, we believe that we have inspired kids into pursuing interests in STEM-related areas that they may not develop without our help. In terms of score, I want to help children who are not as fortunate as us. As shown before with those statistics, some children need help in order to get the education that is right for them and allows them to excel. At the same time, it's important for high school and college students, and even adults, to learn at least the basics of emerging trends and technologies in a simplified language that you can score using the score platform.
So, what about young adults and parents? How do we get involved?
Well, young adults and parents can actually get involved in both Team Arrow and SCORE. In terms of Team Arrow, we already have many young adults and parents engaging in our lessons, especially the Rubik's Cube lessons. We also have some young adults and parents part of what we call Extended Team Arrow who are supporting the cause. These members are not part of the core Team Arrow, but do engage in lessons and help us make our events successful. In SCORE, adults can get involved by volunteering their own time to be a teacher for a subject that they feel passionate about or want to teach. We need teachers to effectively teach these children in SCORE. And for that, adults can greatly help us communicate the material to these children.
Perfect. I'll definitely be looking into one of these events or, teaching opportunities. So, what advice would you give to other kids who are interested in AI, robotics, and STEM?
Well, the best advice I would give to kids interested in those areas would be to engage in other activities and lessons outside of what school provides for you. We found that school simply does not expose children and even high schoolers to these areas early enough for them to develop skills and become ahead in them. If you're truly interested, then try to learn and participate on your own in order to stay ahead of the curve and better prepare yourself for these areas in the future. And most importantly, make sure you enjoy what you're learning.
Great. Okay, so we actually have a couple more questions. One of which is there any work that Team Arrow does towards elementary school level kids?
There is a lot of work that we do towards elementary school level kids. Actually, Team Arrow focuses on teaching elementary to middle school level kids in our classes like Scratch programming, robotics, which mainly involves Lego EV3, and the Rubik's Cube. Most of our students are actually elementary school level kids who may not be getting the attention in STEM-related areas that they may want in school.
Okay, great. And so I think this is going to be our last question, which is kind of similar to question 2, but it's inspiring that you're giving back to those who can't receive a proper education. How are you getting these resources to those who need them?
Oh, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? You cut out a bit on my end for the last one.
Yeah, sorry, it's okay. I said the question is, it's really inspiring that you're giving back to those who can't receive a proper education. How are
Mhm.
you getting them these resources?
Well, we've been getting resources from a lot of people. Team Arrow isn't alone in what they do. We have young adults supporting us, we have parents supporting us, we have my very own dad supporting us. And we all work together as a team to make our own resources to help these kids, especially since we cannot find many of these resources online in the format that we want to teach them to kids in hands-on exercises.
Okay, great. Thanks, Gyan. So I think that's all we're going to have time for today, everyone. And if we didn't get to your question, you can feel free to email Gyan at gyan.ghoda@outlook.com. In fact, if you would like to actually learn more about Team Arrow, Score, or simply chat with Gyan about what we talked about today, you can email him or visit the Team Arrow website. We would also be happy to send you the presentation deck from today if you email us at info@orioninc.com. So thanks again for joining us, Gyan.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thanks everyone for watching and have a good weekend.
So we hope you guys enjoyed the first edition of Orion's Young Innovators Series. Thanks again for joining us today. If you or anyone that you know, like your kids, colleagues, or friends, would like to be featured in our Young Innovators Series, please reach out to the marketing team. via email at info@orioninc.com or marketing@orioninc.com. Thanks, guys, and enjoy your weekend.